DurianNusantara, bangkit dan maju bersama ASEAN. Ruang tamu kita.
Welcome to Yang Berbahagia, Dato Kamil Othman, Director General of Finas, respective presidents of creative industry associations, industry players, media, bloggers, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Finas, we would like to thank everyone for coming to our hashtag Tanya KP Finas here at Pitching Centre. We are indeed honoured to not only have Dato's presence here, but also to have almost all groups in the creative industry represented here today. As you might or might not already know, this session is an initiative by Dato to share his insights and experiences with all filmmakers in Malaysia as well as other skilled professionals about the creative content industry. At the same time, we invite you here as a way of informing about the Content Malaysia Pitching Centre, which was set up back in the early April 2015 to assist Malaysian content creators and producers in creating quality content with good entertainment values and is commercially appealing here and overseas. Without further ado, I would like to call upon Dato Kamil Othman to the stage to get this session rolling. Thank you very much.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh kepada semua. Dato dan Naten, tuan-tuan dan puan sekalian. Saya sebenarnya tengah ambil nafas ni sebab traffic jam tadi. Saya pun terkejut kena duduk dekat sini pula. Saya ingat nak duduk dekat santai macam ni. Actually, tujuan malam ni is actually to make sure that nothing is kept macam rahsia lah. Sebab saya ada 12 bulan lagi sebelum kontrak saya tamat. Ini saya berterus terang kepada Dato dan tuan-tuan dan puan sekalian. Maksud saya begini, dalam 12 bulan, next month saya dah setahun dekat Finas. Dan saya sebenarnya patut dah berpencen sekarang. Ya? Tak payah lama. Kami tak mahu start. Saya dekat tak? Dekat. Okey. Saya cakap ni biar. Okey, boleh. Okey. Okey, terima kasih. Itulah cerita dia. 12 bulan lagi saya ada. Jadi dalam 12 bulan yang akan datang ni, saya memang nak tengok the best way by which industri kita ni boleh dibangunkan tanpa dengan the kind of the normal Malaysia Oleh punya criticism. Saya tak tahu what has been the issue dengan Finas of the past, but there's still another important challenge within Finas itself. Before we can even talk about industri ini nak develop, first of all, the very structure of Finas itself has to be changed. And that one, tuan-tuan dan puan, is the most difficult thing of my life. 20 years ago, maybe I active lagi lah. Tapi sekarang ni dah almost 6 years. Kan? So it's a bit tough. And the people that we need the help from the most is actually the industry. That's where I am facing now. So macam saya pun tengok ramai yang saya dah kenal lama, dan yang baru pun ramai, because yang baru ni harapan kita untuk masa depan. Jadi tujuan tanya KP Finas ni, kalau dia tengok saya tak bawa file kan macam orang government biasa kan, kena bawa file, paper atau sampul kecil. Tak ada, malam ni saya tak ada apa. Whatever yang saya boleh tolong cerita dan tuan-tuan dan puan boleh tanya, saya jawab mengikut apa yang ada dalam tak saya. Umpamanya masa nak datang sini tengah traffic jam tadi, saya ingat Falling Down, Michael Douglas dulu kan, macam nak gila, stop the car, make machine gun, tembak semua kan. So is that a good topic for a movie now? Ya, betul. Ataupun filem traffic kan, Jacques Tati, ya tu komedi juga daripada traffic jam. Malaysia banyak topik lah kita tengok. So for the young filmmakers, these are the kind of topics that perhaps you can touch. And then saya pun rasa happy tengok Polis Evo dah dekat 17-18 juta, dah exceed the wajib tayang. And this is a classic case of tak ada wajib tayang pun filem tu laku. I mean, okey lah, ada yang sensitif pasal wajib tayang ni. Saya cakap sikit je, pom, masuk dalam blog. Cakap saya nak memansuhkan, sebenarnya saya tak nak mansuhkan wajib tayang. Saya cuma nak cari alternatif lain yang mungkin boleh tolong kan. Sebab wajib tayang ni kita tak boleh ingat dia ni betul-betul really help. I mean, it's up to you lah. If you think it helps, it helps. But what I'm trying to avoid is like 81 films last year under wajib tayang. And how many yang betul-betul aku cakap adakah ini membangunkan? Itu saja. Jadi bila saya tanya soalan, masuk dalam soal khabar, sebenarnya tujuannya bukan nak untuk apa kata nak stir up the hornet's nest, tapi nak tanya serius ni, kita ni serius tak pasal nak bangunkan this industry called film industry? Itu saja. And if serious, then memang dah sampai masa dia di mana kita stop lah ingat pasal personality individual punya needs ke apa, tengok how the whole industry kita boleh develop. Example, structure Finas itself. Banyak yang tak tahu Finas ni actually is the jabatan kerajaan. So we have to act accordingly lah. Maknanya banyak idea, kalau banyak idea pun dia proses dia banyak. Just to give you an example, saya nak pergi overseas, it has to be approved by kementerian. Simple act aja. Ini minggu depan AFM kan, American Film Market. We have to seek approval. So kita tak operate macam commercial sector, di mana we have to sell Malaysian films to the world at instant kan, to rush somewhere and sell. Nak buat plan, kita kena get it approved. Nothing wrong with that, tapi cuma ini untuk orang luar, maybe dia nampak benda ni lambat lah. Macam tadi Finas dikritikan, kenapa lembab lah, kenapa ni semua. Tapi one thing I am assuring you is, pintu Finas is open now. You can ask question. In fact, tanya KP is just ask me anything lah. Bukan pasal filem pun tak apa. Whether you know you're going to see James Bond, Spectre or apa, The Fifth. Itu tu I dah say yes dulu. Malam tekan on the 5th ada premiere kat sini. Excited. I juga kecil lagi. Wayang excited, although I still like Sean Connery. So that's the kind of thing. So in order to make tonight a bit more more lively, saya harapkan Dato tuan-tuan puan tak payah serius sangat. Just to bersantai lah sikit kan. And I just ask the questions, I try to answer. In between tu, I membebel sikit lah about this and that. Tapi yang saya tengok ni kadang-kadang, bila saya tengok macam dalam newspaper cakap, hari tu apa dosanya filem Malaysia nak dapat wajib tayang ke apa. Saya kata, it's not dosa wajib tayang. It's dosa bila buat filem yang tak bagus. Itu dosa dia. Dan kalau dosa dia buat filem tak bagus, saya nak tanya pula, kenapa filem dia tak bagus? Dan tujuan pitching center ni sekarang, kita tengok skrip, kita baca tau, the script. But our greatest challenge is to distinguish between those yang betul-betul nak buat filem, those who really want to make movies, and those who just want to be part of it. Okay, so tuan je dah bagi tahu depan kan. We are looking for the real filmmakers, the people who live, breathe film, the one who could carry Malaysian image to the rest of the world. So it's not really about because we have the funds here kan, macam funding ada, but just make sure that funding is deployed to the right people. There are a lot of good filmmakers here in this very hall right now. I'm sure dalam hati ada nampak filem yang ini, yang itu. But sometimes it can't be made. Why? Because at the end of the day, kita kena choose. Select. The money is not unlimited. And then bila selection pula, don't forget, kita kena follow the government punya process. Because ni duit rakyat. Cukai. It comes from your money. So, and then, best thing of all is grant. Grant tu free. Free lah. Do it free. So if you put yourself as a business person, if you want to invest in a movie, what would be the factor you want to apply in order to invest? Tak payah movie lah. Your children nak beli PlayStation 4 pun you tanya, what is my ROI? You still have to study hard, you still have to do this and that. Yeah? So here is government money. So, Police Evo, I found out the cost for the whole thing was about less than 5 million. So now we have a benchmark, yeah, 5 million. But still we have applications that come in for film 7, 12, 18, 16 million. So kita kena cari lah, because we accept certain productions are very expensive, certain are not. Malaysia punya budgets are peanuts compared to US. When I was in Cyberjaya, the money they paid for to make the tiger in Life of Pi, that budget can make 10 local films here. Just to make the tiger aja. So the reality is there. But are we making films like macam Hollywood nak buat? Or are we trying to get a distinctively Asian punya, Malaysian punya flavor? I just got back from Busan. Only one Malaysian film this year. Siapa? Wu Mingjin punya. Yang pasal seruan Merdeka tu. Wu Mingjin is here. Oh, I don't know Malaysia. And then Tokyo. Tokyo Film Festival, Malaysian film, tak ada. Only one only. But that was from Thailand, Cemetery of Splendor. For some reason, Malaysia is in there. So that means someone is financing that movie as well. Remember that one? I can't pronounce the guy's name, but he's the Uncle Bunmi fella. Japong, I don't know full name again. But the film was called Cemetery of Splendor. I saw that Thailand, oblique Malaysia, oblique France, oblique few other countries. So that means there are Malaysians here who are funding this, because it's not Finas, no? And then quietly, while we're thinking about all that, we hear Ruang won the award in New York. Before that, there was one documentary filmmaker, that Indian girl, siapa dia? Yang buat documentary, yeah, we met her when she was here. So, Finas sekarang, we meet all these people where we can and try and ask, hey, how? Why? How did you manage to do this? Because while Finas is spending millions on films that we are trying to nurture, all these independent people are doing things quietly on the side, and suddenly they appear in, places like New York or Sundance or Locarno or wherever. So we at Finas are trying to find the balance. Now where is it? And then there's another group of filmmakers who want to make films full of angst, angry. Angry. We say, alamak, kalau angry, too angry, how can government money be used for angry films? And then we tell, you can still be angry by being creatively, you can circumvent the anger. Just like once upon a time, there was a guy called George Orwell, who wasn't very happy with what he saw, and he wrote a book called Animal Farm. Russian cinema, full of angst, but done in a different way. Has anybody seen a film called Hard to be a God? Okay, that one is baru sikit. Yeah? Hard to be a God. Dia punya premise dia macam ni saja. Scientists from planet Earth, very advanced, were sent to another planet which is less advanced. In fact, they were in the Middle Ages. And then on this planet, they discover many things, but actually it's a comment on whatever they want to comment, without making it direct. And then there was another film called Stalker, also from Russia. So I mentioned so many because you see other countries have done this, but these films do not necessarily make money. Art film, and that's where the other dilemma that Finas has. Nak support art film ke, nak support commercial film? Kalau nak kata support commercial film lah, commercial film when they fail, then might as well support art film. For art films, you can still send them around the world, right? And still get something. the really commercial one, kalau fail, habis tenggelam kat sini je. Then we ask another question. Do people purposely make movies yang tenggelam? Or they genuinely want to make something, but something the missing link? So then we start talking about skills. Ini has something to do with skills. Is it the understanding of cinema ke apa semua? We are not experts. There are some of you out there who are better experts than people in Finas on the language of cinema, on how to make a film. But we realize small things like, maybe the scripts. Yeah, screenplay is the key. Because at the end of the day, it's about story. And then, bila nak tulis story, is that story universal enough for somebody in Korea to understand? Yet Korea can send all their drama here, all their film here, and everybody here seems to understand. So why can't we send ours there to make them understand? We're not even comparing America here. Just belah sini saja. Filem hantu siam, we can enjoy. Tapi Chinese tak boleh enjoy filem hantu kita. Why? Is there something wrong? So basically what I'm saying is that saya tak ada jawapan. Dan saya harap dengan continuous dialog macam ni, maybe we'll find the answer somewhere. Because the answer lies with you. I mean, you are the guys taking the risk. Recently, I discovered something that I believe to be a revival of the Tamu cinema. Here, there's a film called Jagat. Director dia ada sini. Okay. So I thought, ini lain daripada yang lain. So things are moving. I mean, I had to leave a bit early, but I wish I could stay on to the end. Maybe the Mat Saleh doesn't understand the way that we see it, but he has a point again. That, basically this French guy who came here said to the director, there are four stories in one film, yeah? Then we realized, Malaysian memang macam tu, there are always many multi-plot, multi-level and everything, whereas they prefer to be one time. So that is the situation that we have. And then what else do we have? We have, Lelaki Harapan Dunia tu Sengkak this year. And then one also caused a bit of a ding-dong for Finas. Hari itu member of FDM Association semua. So saya kata, actually membership of ni is up to the director. Kan? So we cannot force. But we will work closely with the association to see which is the best way to do it. Kan? Because kita tak nak. You see, the whole idea of association is just to protect. So if protection is the key word here, then the best person to understand would be the ahli. Finas tak nak kacau semua tu. That's not part of us. But what I'm saying is that this year punya film festival, at least for the first time, the minister said, tak payah talk. So dia kata, this is good. So dia tak nak talk. He said he wants to be there just as a member of the audience. So baguslah sebab kita nak duduk as an audience. So tak payah lah naik. And then the most famous line is, even Barack Obama tak pergi Oscar, so why should, ministers attend, this kind of festival? So that is moving lah. So we hope this one will be maintained. So basically, Festival Film Malaysia is a festival by the industry for the industry itself. Okay, so sekarang question time lah. Kalau nak tanya apa-apa, nak condemn pun tak apa. I dah okay. At this age kan, I am not power crazy, Some people think I am in Finas ni because glamour. Glamour apa? Balik pukul 11 malam. Other people, my batch, are going back now playing with their grandchildren, watching movies. You know how many movies I have still in the shrink rack lah? Music yang tak dengar lagi. Balik. The saying is, you watch a movie, the movie watch you. Yeah. That is the situation now. So, being in Finas right now, and I'm still surprised why some people are trying to give all sort of criticism lah. Macam tak suka whatever I'm doing. No. You don't like what I'm doing, then I might as well do nothing. Then nobody has anything to say. But I do nothing pula, lagi satu form of problem pula. So, macam mana? But my intention is this. You want Malaysia to revive, to go up to the international world, is Malaysian stories. Plenty. You look at a typical catalogue from the Tokyo Festival, you look at all the films, katalah siapa tu? This about a touch of sin, kan? What is it all about? Yeah, you have seen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What is it about? Yeah, can Malaysia make like that? Starting orange jatuh, kita buat durian jatuh. Right? Somebody come on a motorcycle, durian jatuh, we sepah kat situ. But in this case, instead of shooting, Malaysia says gun is illegal. Maybe dia ambil plastik ke, dia ambil something lah. Ambil steering lock ke balik. Yes. But maybe that's for your next project, yeah? But what I'm trying to say, that how come they're making that sort of films? I mean, is it because they are better than us? It's just that somebody just observe everything and then see that there might be a way of telling something in a different way. Like macam Jagat, okay, I bring it up again because he just wants to make a story about the eye again from the child point of view. All the advice was that if only you had maintained it from the child's point of view. And then there's a film now called Reda, which is about an autistic child. Yes, Berlin, yeah. So we are starting to send movies now. Berlin lah, Locarno lah. Memang Finas sekarang ni we send anywhere kalau pun. There's one unit who just looks at that only. Hantar, peduli lah, send. And then he proves a point. Because there's no point for the government spending almost 800 million over the last 6-7 years for this industry. They memang hasil dia apa, upin-ipin. Well, I mean, upin-ipin is still good. I mean, but that was during my time at MDEC. MDEC, it was easier to create the animation industry because we had less criticism, but more time to work on things. In Finas right now, there are a lot of other things to take care of other than just development. Plenty. I mean, I won't go into too much, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Saya nak develop the industry, that's all. I mean, Tuhan tak bagi saya banyak, tak anugerah saya dengan banyak present lah kan. Tapi satu present tu, saya dah tahu macam mana industri nak develop infrastructure. Funding tu is just a lubricant saja. Skills. Macam, there's also a relationship with our broadcasters here. Why are they not showing the great Asian cinema on TV? Okay, you can say Astro first and all this, right? But generally, I mean, why can't everybody start showing the best of Asian cinema? Itu pun susah. The last time we asked that, they say, can you find a sponsor for us? Dapat nak sponsor? But every time we show a film festival here, Japan Film Foundation and everything, we know it's packed. Yes, it's packed. It's packed with people. That means there is a crowd. And now we talk back to Malaysian cinema. Why aren't we producing the kind of films that, like what we see at festivals abroad? What's wrong? Tak ada apa. And I don't think it costs that much as well. Kan? It's all the power of the story, the power of the thing. So we can ask questions now, anything? Anything lah? Except for my phone number. The one I give privately. Privately I give.
Can I start?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you for opening this session for us. Okay, my name is Sheikh Jamal from Laying Native Films. Go back to your speech just now about the inspirational and art movie. Under the pitching center here, we get 40% of the total budget.
Yes.
But art and inspirational movie are non-commercial movie. How we as a producer can arrange 60%, whereas there is no much ROI for investors.
Yeah, okay. The 40% and or 5 million, kan? Depending on the...
No, it's depend on 5 million, even
Yeah.
2 million. Inspirational movie
Correct.
can be 7 million.
Correct.
But what I'm asking is why, for this kind of movie, why can't you increase the benchmark of 40% to maybe 60 or 65?
Yeah, boleh. Yes, you take notes. That's fine. Take notes.
Oh, thank you. Number two, when pitching...
No, that is, if kita masuk itu,
Yeah.
dia macam ni tau. The baseline last time was that we hope people can get funding from outside. But you're right. By the way, whatever we do here is a learning process.
Yeah.
We haven't come to, in fact, tak payah tanya, Australia dengan US pun same thing. Every incentive in every country, they're changing all the time. It's never permanent. Australia is a good example. They keep on changing depending on the time. I agree with you. Because for certain films, we should be able to fund up to 90%. But here, we have to make it a condition that the film that comes in the first place is like, you know that the total budget cannot exceed more than 2-3 million. The benchmark is that. Just like we now have Police Evo, I can take that as a benchmark. Right? Because right now, the reason why you have to put 40% is that some people are coming in with cost of production of 12, 14. So if you are going to meet investors, that's why our development funds here, we say we will fund you up to the stage where you're going to produce your script. Now, if your script happens to require you to be in England to look at the London Museum for some historical parts, Dato or or you have to go to Macau because of they have records there of Portuguese, the time when the Portuguese were here. Fine, that's included. So the whole idea is that you now have, after the development funds, grant, the very things you need to meet Genting Berhad to convince them to put in the 60%. Or apart from Genting, you can also go to the Sugar King. Robert. Yalah, go to Indonesia. Indonesia banyak. Dia punya orang dia jalan rokok apa tu, Sampurna kan. You have the materials now, because at one time, the thing is like this. When Finas used to give everything from A to Z, everybody makes the film without making an effort to find out a little bit more about what are they making. Now, why it is important? Because I found out recently, I won't name the film, but when we tried to sell the movie, somebody who is a distributor said, if only I'm involved with the script stage, I could recommend you an actor which can be sold in 6 territories. So that makes us realize, wait, it is something that we didn't know. So basically what he's saying is that, kalau if at development stage, if somebody had brought him in, but that's not Finas lah, that's up to the entrepreneur. Yeah, it's up to the producer lah. That's why I always say, we are looking for a new breed of producers. The producers who says, government can only give you that much, but my movie is that much. So I got to convince others. Okay, second question.
Second question, when Fishing Center was started, the general idea was, beside the government giving a grant,
Yeah.
they will be matchmaking with the local sponsor under CSR like Celcom, GM.
Yes.
Is it going to be happening? Is
Yes.
it happening, or
It's not.
still in the cadangan?
It's not happening yet because the Fishing Center started off in April. So right now we have only got about less than a dozen development scripts. What scripts? 14. So once these scripts dah dirong submit besok, we are going to start meeting the likes of Celcom and DG and Petronas to ask them, yes, under CSR, to say, okay, these are the good scripts because we have funded them. Because our regulations are quite strict here. I mean, strict je maknanya we don't look in cincai lah kan. We want to look that fellow is serious. Yeah, we are looking for people like who's that Whiplash fellow? Whiplash. Can he made the short film first? Lepas he made the short film, then he got the money, he made the longer version kan. But is that really something new? Once upon a time, there was one guy called George Lucas who made a short film called THX 1138. It was a student film. Then he expanded it into a thing. And maybe whether that gave him the idea for Star Wars, I do not know. Maybe he was. So that's the idea. We get the sponsorship because if anyone makes a film about a setting with an oil rig, nobody has made a love story about an oil rig. So, I mean, the woman is on the oil rig, the man is on land. So they meet only by helicopter, some other kind of thing. Yeah? And then one day a disaster in the oil rig or whatever. Nobody has made that film, but if someone makes that film, we will go to Petronas or Salvador or Shell. And if you have a script that talks about the time when the British people were here, we will take it to the likes of BBC and Channel 4 to see whether they want to put some money in. Never been done before, kita nak try. If you make a film about Tok Janwood or Mama Kilau, was the time British tu? Ni Singapore nak sabur ni. Ask them $6 higher than Malaysia kan? Every time kalau macam ni kan, I cakap ni ada orang bayar, ni Singapore bayar. Yeah? So, this is the thing. We will begin with these clips. Yeah.
Nice to hear you can go up to more than 40%.
Yes, we will go. Ni Midcom at AFM ni minggu depan, they are bringing 4 scripts to try and see whether there will be American interest in this story, even at this stage. Ini belum lagi script lagi ni. They call it what? Story treatment. Who knows? Kalau if BBC comes in with £1 million, how much are we getting today? 7 kan? That's your 60%. Kalau if the Chinese investors, China Film Group came here, Shanghai Film Group. This is why sometimes the work at Finas ni kata ni is a thankless job. When we go out, we meet all these people. China Film Group, Shanghai Film Group, contact this industry is contact. I know you, you know me. Then only you can trust. Except that before, kita tak ada material lagi nak jumpa. So if I have the chance right now, yes, I would like to reconnect dengan China Film Group, dengan all these Chinese investors that we met. But the last time I went to Beijing, saya kena paku pula. You know, saya kena paku. Dia orang kata Finas punya office dekat China. Beijing. No, it wasn't an office. It was just a opening ceremony. So I bawa Finas punya sticker. So masa datang ada gambar shake hand kan, of course, very important with senior Chinese official. Oh, the Finas punya logo kan. The picture came here, and then I kena paku. Kena paku, minta lah kena paku. Macam ni kan. I was being asked lah, why did you do this without the permission? I said, I didn't open an office in China. Yeah, but I met 4 big companies in China. I also made contact dengan SARFT, the Chinese equivalent of, well, Puspa lah kot, Finas lah kot. If SARFT tak approve, nothing gets into China. So what? This is long-term relationship. So bila saya balik tu, bila saya kenal tu semua, saya rasa, saya ingat people ni tak faham what this industry is all about. Maybe they think it is still about going and jolly, chogam. You know what's chogam lah? Cheap holiday on government money. Maknanya pergi Cannes. You know, half the time tengok the topless people kat sebelah tu. Sikit-sikit Monte Carlo. Yeah, this is how I test things. You go to a place like Cannes and all that, if you are not excited to tengok the German booth because they have a whole series of stories about Fassbinder ke apa, then I know you're really not interested. If you meet the French guy and all you talk about is Brigitte Bardot, not enough. You must be able to talk about the current French cinema. Why? Because French cinema is very healthy, right? France is the most developed, nak kata country total lah, dia develop already. It has one of the most developed systems to make film. They make Spider-Man fun. 10 of their movies. Tax, So every time Harry Potter goes to France, all the filmmakers are very happy. You know why? Cukai itu, the tax, goes to make the local films. Okay, I'm diverting a bit, but that's what it is. Right?
Hi, my name is Ashraf.
Hello.
And I'm kind of new in this industry, and I believe that you have not mentioned anything about, as a student or a graduate student, the opportunities that we would be given. If we have new ideas, can we just knock on the door?
Yes.
Just give the script.
You knock on her door. Okay, then she will ask you to knock on a few other doors. But, well, basically, we have the development fund and we have what we call the micro-funding. Micro-funding is for those who are interested to have a first hit on YouTube and that kind of stuff. And not just for YouTube, online, basically. Nak buat filem pendek. Because from there we will know whether you have the idea or not. Because one of the criteria when you apply for a grant is my short film, which is actually tema of what I want to make, the long film, dah ada 2 million hits. That's all we want to know. So that means there is already demand lah. Kan? It's better than people who come to apply for funds. And then bila kita tanya, who is your market? The market, the answer comes from themselves. Just like right now, we have a lot of revenue projection. Ni story ni, nak cerita ni. dah 10 tahun ni not about film but about animation dekat MDEC. Bila nak apply grant tu, kata what will be your projected revenues, bermillion. Within 1 year saja boleh cover everything. But in reality, this is what happens. Once you have made the movie or the animated series, some people make the mistake of selling the rights entirely to the broadcaster. So habis cerita. You know about the rights issue here, right? Which is one of the strangest things that I've ever encountered. Broadcaster nak beli rights, kita jual. And then after that, what happens? Yeah, nothing. Shelf. Put on the shelf. Then it will have cobwebs. 5 years later, somebody will pick it up. What I would like to see is a law here which says anyone who creates anything, that rights to belong to you forever.
Should be.
Yeah, should be.
Doing this way.
Yeah. And if anyone wants to show your animation or your movie, they are buying from you the rights to show, to broadcast. Yeah.
Don't we have?
Window.
Don't we need to pay for the rights? Like, for example, intellectual properties.
Yeah.
Don't you need, like, if you are going to make sure that if somebody else going to use your material, then you need to pay for a subscription or something.
No.
Only 50 ringgit registration with the
Yes.
MyFU.
With the 50 kan, with MyPo kan?
Yeah.
MyPo.
Another question is, do you provide scholarship for,
Okay, we don't provide
being
scholarships, but we provide bursaries.
like,
Bursaries tu maknanya is meant for practitioners. If for 3 months you want to go to wherever you want to go, on the condition that they accept you first, we will not recommend you where to go. Example like somebody nak buat music scoring, and then apply to a full sail university ke full moon ke? Saya tak ingat. Anyway, full sail, full moon, kan full sail full sail dekat US, you apply. The minute you get it, you apply. It's called CHILL, CILL, Creative Industry Lifelong Learning. And again, you want to knock on the door tu kat depan you knock again.
anytime, yeah?
Yeah. Well, CHILL used to have a scholarship thing, but we stopped that scholarship thing because last scholarship then we become a JPA scholarship. Susah nak monitor, is it? So now what CHILL does is like 2 things. One, if we know there's enough course that people want, we bring the lecturer from overseas to come here. And we have done that a few times already.
You do.
Yeah.
So you mean you provide mentorship as well?
Mentorship is different.
Okay.
Mentorship is different.
So do you have like sessions like for like young people to give mentorships? Because
Well, you can request, yeah.
alright.
Yeah, you can request.
Yeah.
Because the way I see mentorship is like this. If someone wants to be mentored under, let's say, an existing filmmaker here, in this room, or whoever is your ideal,
Yeah.
right person, like under kita punya Cik Mansur Putih,
But
he was from studied film and all that, so can be mentored.
it's the problem is like I guess most of us like the youngest at the moment film industry might not be able to feed yourself,
Their family.
like so we might do other jobs and then
Make films before you get married. Because kalau dah ada bini besok, lain punya wayang dia pula. You will be making different films. No, I mean this is the truth. Just like a normal student, if you want to take masters, doctorate kan, you try to do it before you get married kan. You try kan. And then by 30, you have all your things and then you settle down. Because I know films, I mean I'm not the only films I make are my birthday video of my children kan. But I can understand how painful it is lah. Even that also kita supposed to be the only director, captain of the ship. Tapi bini lu cakap ambil angle ni, and then they take away your camera and then you pengsat tengok kau dia zoom, dia keluar masuk dia zoom. Dia buat kamera tu macam kamera still kan. Bila you tengok the final product, it's like a headache. So what I'm saying is that yes, mentorship we're trying. In fact, there are a lot of good filmmakers and people, professionals in this country. We've got a lot of associations. Like, if you want to be mentored, we have FDAM, Film Directors Association of Malaysia. Depending on what kind, depending on what kind of genre you like.
But the problem is we don't know how to reach one.
No, that's why you mean us.
Yeah, so is it just by a call or just?
Tak ada, you just come here, kita chat first
Okay.
lah.
Okay.
Then pergi 7-Eleven kat Dato, just maybe 1-0
Okay.
Diet Coke lah. Macam tu lah.
And also, it would be nice, like, if you have one more year left, like, you know, if you could provide a couple of workshops as well during weekends.
You know, workshops have been conducted here.
Yeah,
Really?
Yes.
Alright.
We
Sorry,
have-
I'm
No,
pretty
it's
new
okay.
in
I
this industry.
perfectly understand.
I know, like, a lot of people already know this stuff, but I'm new here, so I'm forgive to everyone.
No, that's
Like,
fine.
you know,
That's fine.
if someone say no, you
The,
can
the,
just
the,
mention.
the whole idea is for you to know so that you can spread the word. And if anybody blogging, bloggers, you can spread the word. Workshops you already have here. Workshops, I can't remember what exactly, but we had camera, I think camera workshop, and even here and in Finas, dekat UK, sedap dari UK, di Sebelah Kelang, or better, aka the zoo. I know some people have heard this already. From my room, I can see the giraffe and the elephants. Give me 6 more months, I will have a telepathic relationship. Kalau I hot temper ke office lepas board meeting ke kan, I naik atas, I want itu aja, gajah tu nanti breakthrough. Good subject for moving, you know, the frustrated DG of Finas. Sorry, I have board members here, but
Okay, thank you.
But generally, yes, we do have workshops, and the best way is to be on the lookout lah, for what we have done. We've even got siapa tu, Cat Stevens punya son tu datang apa buat sini music scoring kan. You know Cat Stevens kan, Yusof Islam. So his son is a jazz musician, so he came here and did a workshop on music scoring. Okay, what we do is this. Because of our relationship with Singapore, NDA, Screen Australia, Hong Kong Film Council, and the US, because we are members of several associations. Every time when someone is coming to this part of the world, they will sometimes inform us. And then if we have the budget and if the timing is good, we will divert them to KL. Let's say someone on the way to Tokyo, we will ambush them. Then 2 days they'll be doing their course. We had people from Pixar that day, the one who did production management. So it's not just about making films. It's about production management. It's about a software developer. Then we've got someone who did Big Hero 6 came here. But sometimes it's the associations who help us. The association like Postam, they would, or FDAM, or even Producers Association. Sometimes if they know a top producer is here, they will tell us like, and then we will fund it. This is the typical location. Kalau workshop, we do it at UK or PJ. We have offices here, UK and PJ. Sometimes when the heat is too much in UK, I go to PJ. Too much heat there, I come here. Until one fellow did say, actually one of the best rumors I've heard was I never turn up at the office. Of course. Meetings, no, I mean, because meetings are all outside the office, right? But then when people say that, I mean, they don't like something about things. As far as I'm concerned, if anybody wants the old Finas back, I can always give it back. Yeah. Yeah, kalau nak old Finas, I mean, what's wrong? Kita nak buat, you know, a new Finas. Just like stage and screen, right? I was telling that day, the number of Indian punya submission is very minimal. So I told someone, student, right, dari sini. I said 10. Make 10 applications. Because from what I've seen right now, there could be a revival of the new wave in Tamu films, Malaysian lah. New wave in Malay. In Portuguese, I even go up to Portuguese punya settlement to tell them, surely you can make a very arty film about, you know, someone who, okay, simple example, I know Ruang has done this before, right? A Portuguese guy today, right? He knows his ancestry, and he wants to go to Lisbon to find out his roots. Why not? Malaysian Kenapa tak boleh buat filem macam tu? I go back to my roots, right? Just like I'm a mama. I want to see.
Finding posters.
Yeah. Tak, I nak tahu berapa, I can make a story. Tongkap mana I come? To Penang dulu. Which tongkap I arrive in? Opening scene saja, I show my son eating his tosai. People dip into the curry, he takes the curry and pour all over the tosai. So where did that trait, DNA come from? So I go back. But stories like this, people are hardly make them. Every time I hear a young, angry Malaysian here want to make a film about, revolution. There are many other stories lah. You want to make a story about revolution, do it creatively, why not? Making it look like a revolution. It can be something else, kan? It can be... But secretly, we are looking for someone here who is like the new Othman for Malaysia, who makes serious films. Have you seen the film called Scenes from a Marriage? Othman. Okay, you can search for it. I saw it before I got married, and it just looked like a good drama. Then after getting a girlfriend, I watched it and I said, hey, it needs to look like this again. Then after 10 years of marriage, I watched it and said, bloody hell, he's correct. So, what I'm saying is that he is a Swedish guy, but he makes films that are universal. People can understand. So that's why I keep telling Malaysian filmmakers, although I'm not a filmmaker myself, I know it's easier to say it. I would say, hey, why your films only Malaysian only can understand? We pass it to somebody who is even a Thai, don't talk about Americans. Show it just to a Thai guy or a Korean, Taiwanese, they don't understand. Yet when we met people like Chai Meng-liang and all that, we say, how come your films? Then I still remember Chai Meng-liang when he made that film, apa tu? Yang watermelon lah. Starting je watermelon. And then after that I said, the rest, under 18, run away. Okay, he made the film, but the real story was about what? The drought in Taipei, kan? It's about the drought. And yet the whole film revolved around the actor who was, he acted in X-rated films, but he made it so casual, so easy. The French cinema is a good example. They make it so easy, right? And they don't use big stars. They don't use name stars. So the line is there somewhere. So any questions? Yes, please.
Assalamualaikum, selamat malam. Dato, saya Hafiz, selaku Setiausaha Agung Persatuan Cinema Malaysia. Saya sebenarnya ada banyak soalan nak tanya, tapi saya cubalah apa yang betul. Yang pertama sekali saya nak tanya berkenaan dengan Palu Citra, which is syarat Palu Citra tu dah digazetkan pada tahun 1997, di mana dalam syarat Palu Citra tu ada 3 persatuan, Seniman, FDAM dan juga Profima. So mengikut syarat-syarat untuk layak bertanding di festival filem, seperti mana isu bau-bau ni, so kita nak dengar penjelasan daripada Dato' AP sendiri lah berkenaan dengan isu ni. So untuk kategori seniman ni sebagai untuk pelakon yang mana nak dicalonkan dalam festival filem, seharusnya ada mendaftar sebagai ahli, tapi kebanyakan calon tidak mendaftar sebagai ahli seniman tapi layak untuk dicalonkan dalam festival filem Malaysia. Dan ada di antara mereka yang menang anugerah untuk kategori-kategori yang tertentu.
Okay.
Itu soalan pertama tu.
Okay, saya try dulu lah yang first one ni. Okay. Number one, I have got a good excuse lah. Masa time this thing Padu Citra ni, I tak tahu dia punya background. Yes, I'm being honest ni. I tak tahu lah. I mean, but that doesn't mean I pretend not to know. I will try to cari lah dia punya. Yang saya tahu, semua pencalonan untuk pesta filem semua, syarat dia keahlian mana-mana persatuan. This is the one that I know, yang I nampak. So that is why bila FDAM cakap director kena FDAM, tak apply sebab untuk saya bila kita interpret, bukan saya lah, our team interpret, dia as long as the film, the people involved juga dah jadi ahli, mana-mana persatuan bertauliah, that film is eligible. So that's one case. But on berapa hari bulan, on the 2nd, 5th, 4th November, we are having a meeting with all the associations again. Saya akan angkat ni lagi sekali. I just want to make it clear that macam persatuan like karyawan. Karyawan tu director pun ada dalam, pelakon pun ada, DOP pun ada, I think kan, karyawan. So should karyawan be part of our DIK, and there is a dialogue kan, yang seniman is part of that dialogue. There are 14 associations who are in that dialogue session. Karyawan is one, because whereas the rest, like my SC, that is specifically untuk cinematographer, FDAM directly untuk directors kan, and then Postan, PPFIM, PTVM, PTVM lah, yalah, betul lah, Persatuan Penerbit Televisyen Malaysia, and then we have siapa lagi, Docs, My Docs untuk documentary. So all these are all specific, but we have two odd association. One is karyawan. Ni odd ni bukan criticism. They odd because anyone can become a member. Then we have another one, Pavita. Pavita is music. Tapi
Karyawan pun music.
yeah, sorry.
Karyawan also music.
Karyawan musician can also be there. So when we have the next meeting, we are trying to find out mana satu yang kita nak iktirafkan sebagai ada, and to tetapkan what should be the criteria untuk FFM tahun depan. So saya minta tolong daripada persatuan, sebab dulu saya tengok macam pada citra, dia suka juga macam apa tu SPP kan. When people want to apply to SPP sekarang, if you nak buat iklan, you kena jadi ahli PPFIM. You want to apply for SPP untuk documentary, My Dogs, dan sebagainya lah. Animation pun ada persatuan animasi. So we are getting confused right now because kita tak tahu what is the positioning of the criteria. And then we have one more, MIM, baru-baru ni. Made in Malaysia ni is for advertising. So recently PPFM announced that ada contract. Yang Finas setuju tu is the contract, not that contract. That it is good to have a contractual relationship dengan klien dengan tu. Tapi taklah sampai contract yang exactly yang what they have given tu. Because sekarang ni, a lot of work in this industry is done without contract. And Finas is worried. Because you make a film, kan, you do everything right now. People are contractually bound to do what you want. Tapi di industri ni saya tengok kadang-kadang ada yang very loose. No contract, no anything. So what happens when somebody gets an accident or turns up or do not turn up at work, semua orang kan? So that is what we are trying to find out lah on the dialogue tu. Jadi dialogue tu pendek kata, pendek cerita, kita will ask the association next year FFM macam mana you nak? Nanti kita angkatkan yang itu sebagai satu soalan utama lah. And then secondly, yang dengan SPP semua tu macam mana kita nak put the criteria, nak ke tidak?
Sebab sekarang ni masih macam festival filem baru ni, ada yang tak berdaftar langsung sebagai ahli, tapi layak untuk dicalonkan dalam FFM.
Okey.
Dan saya percaya ada di antara staf-staf Finas di bahagian pelesenan ataupun pencalonan, mungkin diorang tahu benda ni, tapi
okeylah, kita ambil nota ni lah.
Sebab bagi saya benda ni sangat penting lah.
Okey.
Itu yang pertama lah. Yang keduanya,
okey, sebelum tu minit kita ambil the notes. I have notes ya. So this is about yang FFM ni.
I have a very precise question, whether this is artist ataupun director or whatsoever.
pelakon.
Ada from seniman.
Yeah.
Okey.
And then
Mind you, apa yang tanya hari ni, saya berani cakap, next dialog ni kita ulang, saya jawab balik.
Okay.
Apa yang update ni bukan cakap lepas tu hilang. Tak ada.
Okay.
1 month you can hit me, but next time saya datang awal sikit, maybe saya pakai t-shirt lain. Lepas pendek, tunjuk awal okey tak? Susah. Okey, sorry, apa tu?
Itu lagi tu, pasal berkenaan dengan SPP tadi. Memang kita dah praktik benda ni daripada dulu, sebab pada citra dah 1997, so dah lama. So pada SPP ni, bila mana-mana production nak menjalankan penggambaran, dia kena submit SPP. So that means dia kena submit nama pelakon, pengarah ataupun kru, semua dia kena submit. So jadi sebelum ni kita dah jalankan benda tu. Tapi suddenly now kita tak tahu what happening dekat bahagian penguatkuasaan Finas. Sebab dulu kita dah buat banyak meeting dah, 2-3 kali meeting dalam majlis tindakan bersama untuk memperkasakan balik pada cerita ni. Sebab saya percaya pada cerita ni mampu untuk mengawal warga industri dari segi disiplin terutamanya. Sebab sekarang ni orang memandang industri hiburan terlalu rendah tu. I'm sorry to say, saya tak cakap saya malu duduk dalam industri, tapi kita kena make it something lah. Because daripada pada citra ni saya percaya kita boleh kontrol orang industri. Kan? Sebab Finas ada kuasa tu, kita tak ada kuasa tu sebagai persatuan, tapi kita telah digazetkan dalam pada citra lah. Sebab sekarang ni ada di antara yang keadaan dah mati pun masih boleh menjalankan pengabaran.
Ini pun saya pun nak tengah check ni juga. Sebab apa saya dapati database pula yang pegang by association pula pun tak lengkap. Sebab saya nak link up all this because this is to be expected. Like Finas is trying to go computerized. Akta kita 1981, this is now 2015. Kalau tak computerized, come on kan? I mean, kita sekarang semua IT savvy kan, all the young generation semua all tak payah form nak isi sampai betul tu berlapis-lapis kan, all online. So Finas is going through an IT revamp. So of all the money this year, I diverted funds for that. So we need the association also to give us the database. Later kita kena centralize database semua, that will make our checking thing. So that is one thing going on. Yang kedua tu, one of our weakness right now is pemantauan, because we don't have people who go out and look for the thing kan. Although I do hear reports really from some of your ahli also, yang kadang-kadang tu certain shooting tu kan, kita tengok orang yang luar yang bukan ahli pun baik. So when we hear things like that, we act. The only thing is right now kita tak boleh buat tu secara keseluruhan because of our staffing punya issue. But we know the problem. Sorry? Outsource. Itulah. Maybe lah outsource.
Sebab sebelum ni
but talking about outsource pula, today I was told our budget was severely cut for 2016. No? Cikgu. Saya dah planning juga ni.
Almost 60%.
Our budget has been, I mean it's not been cut, but it has been reduced substantially.
Sebelum itu, dalam mesyuarat yang kita dah buat dengan 3 persatuan dan juga ada wakil Finas dalam tu, kita dah bagi dah database tu pada bahagian penguatkuasaan.
This is under pelaksanaan dengan penguatkuasaan?
Ya, pelaksanaan dengan penguatkuasaan. Sebab kita dah bagi dah database tu, so kita dah dapat persetujuan dalam mesyuarat tu, di mana database tu kita boleh update, which is sebulan sekali or setengah bulan sekali, kita dah buat dah benda tu. So now saya tak tahu what's going to happen.
Tak apalah, kita ambil nota tu. Sebab apa, saya ni sebenarnya Finas dia 472 staff. Saya sebelum ni saya punya staff ni 29. So tengoklah kali berbanyak kan. Dan dia punya structure dia pun kita pun nak tukar pun, nak make sure dia punya pelaksanaan tu can be monitored kan. Saya admit kadang-kadang pemantauan, kadang in fact satu ruling baru sekarang, kalau you dalam pelaksanaan dan penguatkuasaan, you tak boleh ada dalam job tu for more than 2 years. Saya nak buat giliran tukar. Setiap kali sebab this is normal audit punya ni lah. You cannot stay in the same place for too long, especially dalam pelaksanaan dengan kuasa-kuasa. Because we have been losing a lot of cases. Banyak bila rate semua ni kan, tengok kita lose the case. So something is not right lah. I tak payah extend further than that kan. But I believe ini pun because dia punya, remember kita ada office ya, dia Finas ada offices dekat all around the country. Okay, for northern is Bukit Tajam, I don't know why Bukit Tajam, but it's Bukit Tajam. East Coast is in Kuantan and Johor Bahru. Then we have one in Kuching and Kota Kinabalu. And dia orang akan cover this big area. Tu penguatkuasa lah tu. So maybe kita relook back to the structure. But noted.
Boleh tanya lagi?
Tak, kasih Chan. Kata orang lain.
Dato.
Saya?
Dato Kamil.
Ya? Oh.
Saya Zarin Setiausaha Kehormat Persatuan Penerbit Filem. Saya ingin share sikit lah
mengenai soalan daripada
yang kawan kita daripada seniman.
daripada kelab seniman.
Ya, tidak seniman.
Pusat seniman. Okey, untuk Festival Filem Malaysia, dulu memang kita ada tubuhkan satu jawatankuasa induk. Jadi jawatankuasa induk ni yang menentukan syarat-syarat untuk festival filem dijalankan. Tapi oleh kerana tahun lepas Finas yang main organizer, so jadi syarat-syarat tu tidak ditepati lah. Maksud dia syarat-syarat mesti daripada Pandu Citra, sebenarnya benda tu bukan digazetkan untuk festival filem. Lesen dengan festival filem dua benda yang berbeza. Dua benda yang berbeza. So jadi kalau akan datang festival filem ke-28, kita nak ikut undang-undang tu, dan jadi semua festival, semua persatuan mesti ada dalam jawatankuasa induk. So kita tetapkan benda tu. So jadi baru benda tu tidak bercanggah. Ya. Yang perkara nombor 2, SPP. SPP itu sebelum ni zaman Dato Rais Yatim telah memberi kelonggaran kepada SPP. Kadang-kadang kita sebagai penerbit ni, kita submit kru dan banyak lagi, lebih kurang dalam 50-60 ramai yang tak daftar. So jadi benda tu leceh nak keluarkan SPP. Dan saya pun terima kasih kepada Finas lah, kerana beri kelonggaran sikit. Tapi benda tu eloklah dipraktikkan pada akan datang. Itu saya tahu. Terima kasih.
Okey, terima kasih Tuan Zalin. Tuan Zalin selaku ahli board Finas lah. Tapi yang ada tuan-tuan perempuan yang lain ada tak pandangan about all this Pandu Citra semua?
Yes, sir. I have, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to share about Profima. I'll be very blunt and straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, I was requested because I used to be a member of Seniman a long time back. Of course, it expired and all that. I had to do something. I had to go to Profima to register. The thing about me is that complaining is easy. First of all, if you don't fix your house, there's no point. Because when I make that call to Profima, nobody picks up. First time, second time, a few hours nobody picks up. And then when I walk to the office is closed. And then when I go, I have all my resumes, I go and give it. They don't even bother to check. So anyone can actually go and register for Profima. So what's the point if you just go there? Let's say I'm just a restaurant owner, or just I'm a waiter and I'm going to give to Profima, and you register me, what's the point? Where is the quality in Profima? So to me, Profima, the way I look at it when I'm a register, I thought, this is a waste of time. Simply because the person that's sitting in front of Profima, can I photostat? Keeps a face where you feel like this. Come on, can't you have a better face to sit here? And then you go like, okay, yeah, good, yeah, okay, yeah. And you give your card, you give your card. That's it. So, if you want to complain with other people in terms of your service, you got to strengthen your house first. I cannot go and complain to people when my house is bad. That's how I feel. I think Profima, to me, it's a waste of time. Because the system is bad, and I know a lot of production, a lot of Indian production, take foreigners and come and work here, and at the end of the day, they can just go with a different name and go and register Profima, boom, shoot happens. Where are Profima? What's the point of paying money to Profima? End of the day, nobody is going and checking places, taking the initiative. If I'm going to pay Profima money, and then when I go on set, some other people is doing job there, and different people are there, and it's not checked well, you know. How come there are different people are working there? What's the point of my paying money to Profima?
Yeah, okay. So we heard that, and okay, I mean, if we accept that as an observation, actually the president of Profima is here.
People can get very frustrated when you walk to the office and nobody picks up and you see a period face in front. Yeah. You must have a pleasant, because we are paying money. We are not doing it for free. We are paying money. So when I'm paying money, I need good customer service. If you cannot get good customer service, shut down your house. Simple as that. One of the members of Screen and Stage and also a producer in Astro Shaw. So
Okay,
just
thank
like
you.
to say.
Okay, this is all happy hours, huh?
Yeah.
Nothing personal, kan? Nothing personal, eh? I think question should start with, in fact, I pun kenal juga, tapi I never take it personally. I kenal, in fact, like they said, love the enemies. Tak ada lah, I mean, I was just explaining it because it's a Friday night, kan? That's what Aris got every time, ya, kan? Okay.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Haris. Dato, I guess the wish list for most of us here we've known each other, some of us. We've got one too many associations governing too many things. You've got the cinematographers, you've got the Profima, you've got the FDM and all. But none are talking to each other, and mostly are ego trips. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but it's all like, oh, why should I be collaborating with that? What benefit do I have? In the film industry, it's a team effort. For a film to succeed, every department, that means from Profima to FDM to the whole works. But if you can sit everybody down, especially the head, egos aside, like he said, streamline each house, get their act together, maybe reduce the amount of association, then you got a less headache. Because at the moment you go, mana? Oh, kita pergi sini. Oh, satuan ni. But it's interrelated, so you are doing double, as you said just now. Tak ada, ini ada. So sometimes filmmakers get lost. Sometimes
okay, it's a good point because on the meeting that we're having, I think we can actually start talking in these terms to move towards some other things. Now, the reason is that Finas actually kita hormat the association because they're all being set up independently kan, and each has a charter about protecting their stuff. Because I'm more interested like this, that people are not exploited unnecessarily. The performance.
But the thing is, while it's set up, it goes from hand to hand to hand. Along the way, you get bastardized.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
So somebody of authority needs to, headmaster needs to check that you get your house together before you can move forward. You see, coming back to MIM, those days, MIM was so strong that none of the producers in commercial dare to take the name because the guild will check. And if you found, either you ban or reshoot. Again, I brought up what the gentleman said. If there is no strong association head to check whether, okay, these are my Profima people, or this is the FDAM, and all that, then it's used, again, like he said, anybody can just put a name. There are cases before your time where there are foreign directors that come in, shot, use a Malaysian first assistant director's name. The moment MIN get a sniff of it, check was made, the commercial could not go on air. That scares everyone.
Right.
Clients will play.
Ini mana dulu the monitoring by Finas was better.
The guild wasn't Finas.
Oh, it wasn't Finas, the guild. The guild ni maksud
PPFIM dulu lah.
Sorry?
PPFIM.
Oh, dulu. The old PPFIM.
It's called the guild. Now it's called PPFIM. But if the PPFIM are given that much power, then it works downwards.
I see.
Same goes with all the association.
So tak payah lah Finas pening kepala sangat kan? Really, because I find that
because they must believe their own people and their own industry. You safeguard your own. If you lose, then the floodgate is open.
Because I must admit that sometimes now a high percentage of our time is spent on this interfacing dengan the association lah. So that's why the meeting yang saya refer tu yang akan datang ni, saya cuba nak tanya, saya nak association tolong kita by trying to resolve some of the big issues. Because I think for the time being, Finas tak nak pakai kuasa akta or whatever yet. Let the thing be settled in.
I know, but Dato, my last word would be, if you don't respect your own association, it will not work.
Yeah.
If you don't respect your
own association, that means I register myself FBAM ke Profima
betul lah,
for the sake of getting that card,
okay.
But I don't respect it at all.
Itulah, because you must understand from Finas punya part, because of all this understanding daripada dulu, keahlian tu suddenly becomes mandatory, kan, for some.
Yes.
But Finas tak pernah tanya dekat ahli, what does the association bagi pada diorang? Yet, because saya rasa itu bukan Finas punya territory, dan maknanya macam ni lah, saya nak join Damansara punya club, saya join sendiri kan. Sebab I as a member dapat privilege a few things, so I assume it's all in order lah. Tapi the more I think about it, is that anak-anak minta kata Finas tak ada banyak time nak control all this, so better the association decide among themselves. Because like once upon a time, also there was an association called GAFIM, remember?
Yes.
Not once upon a time, sekarang there still is. But sorry, mana ada GAFIM ni? No, what I meant was GAFIM, kalau tak salah saya, was formed because there were many associations kan, so everything kena berbual bawah satu umbrella.
Itu yang
Dan
pertama tu. Yang keduanya Gafil ditubuhkan untuk manage festival filem
Gafil
dulunya.
tapi saya dipahamkan dulu festival film was organised by the entertainment journalist.
Itu yang awal.
Ya.
Lepas pada tu Gafil.
Frankly speaking, Dato, tuan-tuan dan puan, actually kan, I plus one experience organising film festival ni kan, actually sakit kepala tau. I wish I could outsource the whole thing out.
Okay, Dato.
Yeah.
Dato, yeah.
So
Sorry. Apa nama, sepatutnya today kita lebih berbanyak bertanya hal banyak ke Finas kan. When dia orang bawa cerita pasal Profima ni, so
Kita jawab
on
sikit.
behalf of Profima, I'm very sorry. Apa nama apa tu?
Baker.
Baker. Okay, Baker. I don't know apa you punya masalah. That one I don't know. I think I apa nama Astro banyak dealing dengan. If let's say if they want to renew, I think I tak pernah menyulitkan dia orang. You know, sometimes they send about 100 to 200 apa nama members from Astro. Tapi an Astro show when you make the complaint, you kata kita tak layan and you call office. I don't know that what time that you. Wait. I don't know. Wait. I don't know. Pukul berapa you datang office? Because my apa nama our office close 1 to 2 o'clock. That one. Every day kita tak pernah kata that our office tutup. Tak pernah. 1 to 2 o'clock, yes, that one is a break time for the staff, right? So, and then our working hours is 8:30 to 5 p.m. Sometimes I ada dekat office sampai late midnight. I ada dekat office. If you call me direct, I got no problem. Okay, Dato pernah dealing dengan banyak juga orang yang pernah dealing dengan. You don't worry, but I'm sorry if my my staff. Don't worry. Next time, if you want to do something, you just call me direct. It's no problem.
The views that I gave was my personal views.
Yeah.
Astro Show, the thing is that when I go and register as my personal member, that was my personal experience.
Yeah.
Even from previously as well. Of course, with different members. Of course, I happen to work in Astro Show. Let's say.
So to me, I got no problem. Sometimes at the company, let's say they want to register a member about 20. I tak pernah beri masalah. I say, okay, never mind. You download our apa nama form from the website. Kemajuan. You just download. You prepare all the things. Apa nama fill out all the form and then resume this and that. You just bawa. Just one office boy enough. Just bawa and I check everything. Then I approve. Then everything's okay.
I think what I can.
Not a problem. Sorry.
What I can suggest is that since we're all very happy here, because the whole idea of tonight is also for each other to meet each other. I mean, like right now, I'm sure you're willing to give your handphone number. Then next time, no, because our intention is to improve things.
Yes.
I mean, just like if I hear anything wrong about Finas, I admit. I'm not trying to hide.
Yep.
So if ada kekurangan apa, kita cuba nak try to fix it lah. So kalau soalan lain, sorry.
Actually, my name is now, so maybe I can say a few words.
Yes.
I managed to get my university, Columbia, to be interested in the development of the cinema in this country, so I do not know whether Finas is excited.
Columbia?
Yes.
University
Columbia,
yeah.
Which is the first university in the world to offer a course in film in 1968.
Yes.
And I got them interested to collaborate, support our industry.
Yes.
And I want to know whether Finas feels excited with this or
I mean,
to you is nothing.
If the rest are not excited, I am. Because
my university
yes.
that allowed me to produce my thesis for them, which is a strong way of get our film recognized by the University of America, and maybe from there we can use Columbia as a stepping stone. So I want to know how interested in us in this effort that my personal relationship with university.
Okay, the starting point, Cik Mansur, is this. Kita tengok kalau Columbia interested, have they actually given their plans about how they would like to assist? Macam example, if they just send a letter to me to say that they are interested in the collaboration, two things can happen. Once when we know what they are, two things. One, we can invite them to come over, if they come over. The other is when we are there, we can go and visit them. But normally what happens is, they would have to give their outline, because apart from Columbia right now, I can tell you, there's one more university in England called University of Salford, who is also connected with us for the media. This is for the media city. dekat RTM. That is Salford. And then there is also a connection dengan University of Southern California because dekat Johor.
I'm talking about them wanting to see a Malaysian film submitted to them to my university as a thesis,
Yes.
which is a rare offer by any university in America. They don't allow students to go out of the country to produce some master's thesis film. You have to be on campus, you have to be in the country. But for my case, they have given me this kind of opportunity, which I thought the country can make itself, Finas can make full use of.
Are you talking about Malaysian Snow?
Are you going to think my film?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think
Yes,
which one.
I'm talking about that.
About Malaysian Snow?
Yes, very much.
Okay, Malaysian Snow, I thought came
So
in
what's
through...
the problem with Finas not being able to appreciate people who had studied in America at master's level, not just a 3-month course, master.
Actually, okay, this is what we'll do. I know you have made a film before called Saman, kan?
Nominated for Best Film in Portugal.
Okay,
The
so...
first Malaysian film to be nominated for Best Film in Europe.
Okay, what I can do is that I can, if you have a copy of that, has it been shown here in this? Saman? No, here.
Shown in Astro.
No, here. Because I want some people to just come and watch and then to see what it's like, and then we have a discussion macam film appreciation. Yeah, we'll do it here. Because the whole idea is that if that brings up to the thesis, because basically I know a little bit about the background. Malaysian Snow is supposed to be a thesis project, right? And that is Columbia because you're an alumni of Columbia University. Okay? The question is right now, I think script evaluation stage has happened, right? And every time the script evaluation happens in the stage, there's always comments about how to make it better. So right now, this is all that we have now at the script stage.
I know about that, but I don't buy the arguments. I don't believe in what they say because they do not understand what I'm saying.
Okay. This is where films
You got
become.
people who are my junior.
Yeah.
Study my skill. How can you get people like Zulkifli? We see what about my skill.
Yeah, okay. Here, I remind again, this is happy hours. All that I'm saying is that to be fair to Chimanso, yes, we see someone, we can show it here, and then we'll have a critical evaluation, and then you can spend time also to tell the audience what they think about. Because you see, the concept for me, like, the kind of creativity that I think I have, Malaysian Snow only sounds like a perfect metaphor for things that, the only Malaysian Snow I know is very metaphorical, It's like macam you talk about Holland, the hills of Netherlands. Satu bukit pun tak ada kat Holland. So when you see a film title like that, you tahu it has a connection dengan something. Yeah? Sorry? The hills, kan? The irony of it, yes. Just like you say, certain things. So we understand. So we appreciate. I mean, I know that Cik Manso has been around for a long time, and I know you have been a film critic and all that. Sure. But the thing is that what I'm trying to understand is that if to put everything into context, Columbia, yes, I've got no problem with Columbia. But there are also students who are coming here with theses from Melbourne, Monash, and all that, which we try to help. But the thing is that when they come in, this is what happened. Somehow the presentation is more of the storyline. Now, if I use Saman as an example, I know it's a very heavy film, kan? Saman is heavy. Siapa dah tengok Saman? It's heavy. The only other one I can think about is arwah Dr. Nur Arai dulu called Johnny bikin film. I know there's a lot of things. So what I'm saying right now is that under the present context, if Preaching Center had been around, we will probably have some people in anyway, because the whole idea is that we have to make films that people want to see. So that's why we send it to abroad to tengok people to test and all that. Yeah? It's some sort of focus group. I have got no problem. It's just that our procedure right now is that the script will have to be sent to certain people, so they have to give an opinion. I don't know lah ke Tuan Zaid sini, I tak nak lah komentar kan, tapi you want to say something? No? Tak ada? Okay.
Tok.
Okay. Pasal profil mana lagi?
No. This is tanya KP.
Okay.
Okay, Dato. Selamat datang. Terima kasih. Saya ada dua perkara. Satu bentuk cadangan dan satu bentuk pertanyaan. Cadangan saya, Dato, tentang Finas. Saya rasa apa yang pernah dilakukan sebelum ini di Finas, kalau perkara yang baik, saya rasa harus diteruskan. Contoh, salah satu contoh lah, kita tengok Finas sehari ke sehari nampak macam hampir malam sikit. Walaupun nampak kesibukan di luar, tapi contohnya macam mana kita nak bawa balik orang industri itu untuk datang kawan-kawan minum teh di Finas. Saya rasa perkara ini pernah dibuat dulu oleh Tuan Haji Zul, yang kita setiap 1 bulan, 2 minggu sekali ke 1 bulan sekali kita ada buat program macam presentasi filem, tayangan filem, dan juga itulah untuk keperluan orang industri. Saya rasa perkara itu harus diteruskan balik. Ingat benda itu dah lama berhenti selepas 2 KP tak berlaku benda itu, selepas before Dato. So satu lagi, ini betul pertanyaan Dato. Saya rasa ini bersangkut dengan filmi sikit. Tentang filmi ni begini Dato. Saya tahu setiap permohonan filmi ni kita mesti buat permohonan dia 3 bulan sebelum filem itu nak dibuat, kan? Saya rasa itu mungkin betul. Kedua, tentang filmi ni, saya cuma nak bagi ni sikit lah. Saya kata jangan pemohon dan pemohon filmi ni menyalahgunakan keuangan itu. Sebab tu duit tu datang daripada rakyat, yang pembayar cukai. Sebab yang saya nak bagi tahu ni, sebab saya juga salah seorang yang meluluskan setiap kemasukan foreign production under Puspa. Saya tak nak perkara dia berlaku, dan saya kata akan berlaku kalau saya benda ni tak adil lah. Contohnya, saya tak nak sebut filem mana, saya rasa Datuk mungkin tahu. Sebab benda ini pernah juga saya bangkang masa dalam Puspa sekalipun. Saya kata bila dia orang meminta kelulusan tu awal, okey, kelulusan tu awal ada minta sampai backdated, itu memang saya bangkang, dan akhirnya memang dia orang tak akan bagilah. Tapi walau macam mana, dia bagi awal juga. Awalnya dari segi dia tak bagi backdated, tapi awal. Contohnya penggambaran tu dia memang buat awal, tapi bukan di negara kita. Tapi di sini dia minta awal. Contohnya benda tu bulan April, contohnya bulan April dia mohon lulus. Jadi bila lulus itu dia boleh mohon Puspa. Tapi saya tak nak Puspa baru dia mohon filmi. Saya tak nak filmi tertipu sangat perkara ni lah. When permohonan di awal, dan sedangkan penggambaran itu dibuat di luar dulu, dan perbelanjaan itu memang habis banyak di luar, ya. Contohnya dari segi sewa peralatan, dari segi bayaran artis, dari segi buat set, buat kostum, desain, semua dibuat di negara luar. Tapi penggambaran dia masuk di negara kita selepas 5 bulan dah kita luluskan. Selepas 5 ke 6 bulan baru penggambaran itu dibuat. Contohnya dalam bulan 9 atau bulan 10. So minta Finas filming sensitif perkara ni, sebab kita tak nak nanti dia duplicate invoice ke receipt ke apa yang dia buat daripada awal. Sebab bila benda-benda, kalau dia ambil benda itu, dia cakap, oh saya dah spend about 100 million, so kita kena bagi 30%, dan merugikan kita. Sedangkan kita tengok, bila saya tengok yang pertama dan kedua, masih juga saya tengok sampai yang akhir, baru di permohonan akhir, kru daripada luar semua lebih kurang 496 ke lokal kru dan juga support servis. Ada 212 lebih. Maksudnya on technical dengan production saya kata agak kurang, tapi lebih kepada support servis, kan? Yang kita tengok adalah 30% yang kita nak isikan di dalam production itu, 30% saya rasa tak mencapai lah. Sebab support servis ni kalau nak ikut dia kena mohon atas. Kerja contohnya carpenter, tukang catering, kita nak on technical ni, kita nak on technical dengan production team ni, kita nak 30%. Itu yang kita nak lah. So jadi apa yang berlaku, saya rasa benda ni macam kita contoh satu production ni yang saya tahu peringkat awal lagi, masa tu belum masuk, belum apa, saya duduk dan bincang dan tanya dia, apa production cost you all nak masuk ni. So you dia cakap 70 million. Tapi bila dia tahu filmi ada insentif filmi ni, tiba-tiba benda tu menjadi 140 and then 200 million, dan akhirnya saya dengar sampai 240 million. So saya rasa, saya tak tahulah Datuk, kalau Datuk boleh fikir, logik ke dia nak belanja 240 million di Malaysia, apa benda dia nak ni? Itu yang saya kata, adakah dia sewa hotel 5 bintang di seluruh satu negeri itu? Adakah dia bagi sewa kereta kepada tim-tim dia orang ni, kereta-kereta yang bersalur emas? Adakah makan dia orang hari-hari, dia orang makan lobster stick di sana? So that 200 million. So that mean, minta Finas sensitif dari segi masa nak ini dengan auditor ke apa. Perbelanjaan yang kita boleh bagi kepada dia 30% itu perbelanjaan yang dibelanja di Malaysia sahaja. Transport maksudnya artis-artis besar-besar dia orang bekerja, dia orang tu semua dah dibayar kepada negara dia orang dah.
Okay.
So ini benda-benda ni lah. Yang saya masih ketinggalan yang lepas 200 million kalau dibayar betul lah 30%, satu kerugian untuk kita lah. Dan maybe that money tu boleh disalur kepada orang yang rasa kita. So ini dia dah masuk kali kedua. I think maybe I can sit down Datuk one day, I cakap dengan you lah.
Okay. I think just for information for the rest, what Captain Keir is mentioning is there is an incentive here called FIMI, Film in Malaysia Incentive. In a very summary form, any production that comes to Malaysia, whatever they spend here, they will get 30% back in cash.
Yes. Spend here.
Spend in Malaysia, like they call it the Malaysia spend.
Not on their total budget.
Not on their total budget.
Yes.
So it is about what you call qualifying Malaysian expenditure. What is qualifying? So a production comes here, they use, let's say, a studio in Malaysia, they use Malaysian crew, they pay the salary, they stay in the hotel, they eat lobsters, they go to unique seafood Citamo every night, and then banana leaf, then every time get prawns and all these sort of things, and then go to soup torpedo and all that. All that will be claimed, because as long as they spend in Malaysia. Now the one that Captain Keir referred to just now, I got a good excuse lah. That happened before my time also. Masa approval. Tapi the second one is during my time. That is why we are looking at the things slightly differently. So FIMI itu macam tu saja. So if you have any international friends or whatever, yes, they can come to Malaysia to shoot. And right now, apart from what has been mentioned, we have films like Michael Mann punya Black Hat. The film Black Hat, Michael Mann, shot in Penang. Right now in Penang, Indian Summer is being shot in Penang. These are all qualifying for this FIMI. So basically, whatever you spend in this country, belanja apa pun, 30% you get back in cash. That is the incentive. Now, is this really something that is not beneficial for the country? Well, under normal circumstances, in many countries in the world, every time a film production comes, the country will get back 1.5 to 2 times more. Because they will come for hotels, they will come for what you call economic multiplier. Okay, this one I don't want to bore you like a lecture in economics, but from the central core of production, it creates the economic multiplier. But of course, kita kena look like the abusers kan, atau receipt palsu and that kind of stuff. Yes, it's correct. We have to look at that. So right now, the FIMI team is actually looking at all these things very seriously, and the auditors pun dah different dah sekarang. Dulu, the auditors will only come at the end of production. After they say it's a wrap, then the auditors come in. Now the auditors start in the very beginning. Puspal approve, dapat certificate, the auditors is already there. And this is the reason for that. Sometimes it took us a few occasions after 14 months to know that they don't qualify. Can you imagine? What a waste of time for Finas also. After 14 months, right?
I terpaksa beritahu sikit lah. Tuan benda ni. Lulusan production ni adalah pada April. I masih ingat lagi April, 28 April. Dia orang baru masuk syuting bulan 9.
Okay.
Then before that, they were shooting di Hungary, Kazakhstan semua. So equipment semua dah disewa di negara lain. Daripada Jerman, England, Australia and Thailand. So dekat kita dapat sikit je dapat disewa dekat kita. So but dia dah start shoot daripada April di luar negara lain, and set semua besar dah buat di sana.
Okay.
Sini because dia orang nak dapatkan that 30%, then dia orang datang sini on September. So benda-benda ni maksudnya bagi upah pun benda tu dah buat di sana.
Okay, we have I don't want to extend too much, but you can have a few minutes just to say, because this is a production that took place in Pinewood, kan? Yeah.
It's true that the shooting just started in September. I think you're aware of that. And of course, Puspa approved it back in April. Okay, however, starting from April onwards, okay, the set was already constructed then. And for the equipment that they used, it was from the previous production season 1 that they brought to Hungary. Okay, so most of the production spent is actually in the ground of Malaysia. And also, I would actually say that Filem in Malaysia incentive is very crucial to ensure that international production actually lands here. Because if it's not, then why would Hollywood announce end of last year that starting from this year, announce, I think this year, that they have $300 million for incentive. And also Thailand is already giving 15% from next year onwards. So that's actually a big thing, and they are actually competing directly with us. Okay, so when you talk about production, okay, because the US production is very big, okay, that's the reason why that the prepping is actually huge. So if you go to the studio, you can actually see that it's actually a spend on the ground. And I'm sure FIMI is very strict when it comes to audit, because I as a Malaysian wouldn't want us to be spending unnecessarily for international film if they do not qualify.
Okay, thank you. I think this is about the FIMI thing, but okay, on the bigger picture of FIMI, the real interest that we have here is for Malaysian films to get exposed, Malaysian filmmakers to get exposed to what they're doing. Yeah, yeah, it's for Malaysian filmmakers to get exposed to what they're doing. Itu aja. Because we are here to discuss how to bring Malaysian film industry up to another level. So, what is the implication of all this? Bila Mak Saleh ni semua datang sini, I can see some Mak Saleh here as well, but it's okay. In your case, you are Malaysian enough already. So, it's like to say, when all these international parties come here, the whole idea is that we are not doing the country a favor if we just let them happen just like that. Because what Finas is doing right now is, okay, 30%. Right now, the rule says that any foreign production that comes in here, you want FIMI, 30% of your cast, of your crew must be local. Now, this 30% is not your coffee lady, it's not your, the Domino pizza supplier, nada. We are talking about real internship kind of thing. Now, Finas can increase this to 32% next year. But the question is, we got to be fair to the international production also. We got to accept, okay, if I were to ask here, in Malaysia right now, how many production designers, production managers do we have?
Designers and managers, two different things.
Yeah, I'm talking about production management managers. I can tell you, I can count. The ones that are accepted by the international, not me. Because together in cooperation with CCIG, every time when these guys come here, we actually offer them. We tell them first, hello brother, if you want to take your 30%, can you look at our list of our accredited list? Would you take these guys? And then sometimes they do their own checks and they find, this one is Malaysian standard. We are looking for that. So that's why we are trying to find out anyone who comes back from overseas, right? Graduate from US or UK, France, China, doesn't matter where. We want that names on the database. So that the next production that comes here, we can offer. Because the whole idea is that this is all about internship. Remember, Directors Guild of America would have a DGA trainee on every Hollywood film. That's the understanding. Yes. And these are the guys in future who later will become a director. So what we hope is that, like what's happening right now in that production, is even production accountant. You know how many production accountants we have in this country? Telur ayam. So chill, send people out for this kind of training. Okay, what else do we have that we don't have? Previs. I only know 2 in KL. 2 that are acceptable for international standards. And what about music scoring?
Wardrobe design.
Yeah?
Wardrobe design.
Wardrobe design?
Production design.
Why do you think we are not able to make films here about 14th century Malacca? Because there's no wardrobe designer.
Sorry, I'm going to jump on this one very quickly.
Okay.
You spoke about Fimi again. You spoke about we don't have this, we don't have that, right? But you're encouraging foreign to come in so that we learn.
Well, we didn't say encourage. We are trying to say provide incentive.
So they come in. But I can bet you now there are qualified production designers here, qualified wardrobe stylists. It's just that the budget that the local producers are forking out does not allow them to spend, right?
Okay.
You have FIMI that brings foreign.
Yeah.
We don't have anything for local firms. A rebate system. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, okay? I may be wrong.
No, FIMI is applicable for local production
Right,
as well.
but only at 2.1, 2.5
5 million, yeah.
without pre-pro, for instance. I went through that.
Yeah.
Remember we had the
Yeah,
discussion.
yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, if it's not so stiff, because the moment you meet one of your officers, oh, this is more encouraged for foreign, right? Automatically, the local producers' budget will shrink. Hear me out. If we are allowed, and we know there's a rebate that comes if you're willing to spend 3 million and above, then the production quality will increase. Because again, the producers will then dare to use better people who used to do commercial, who works in Indonesia.
Okay.
They come back and do local production. Then you see a difference. Because right in the producer's head, there will be X amount of rebate coming back. Right? And not just, oh, FIMI is meant for foreign. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
that came across very bluntly.
One officer, right?
We have a production designer workshop.
No. I mean, I'm saying that we have the list.
Yeah.
We have the list. I even have the list of the top 10 script writers in the country. But that is being vetted by country. But what I'm saying is that there must be another form of accreditation where we can get them to be involved. But it's interesting to see that if this is the case, how come they are not available on our database?
Okay, Dato, a lot of, most of, I quote unquote, commercial side are working in Indonesia, Vietnam,
Okay.
some even go into Thailand and shoot, and art directors go there. They can design, production design, wardrobe stylists do go there. If you know Thailand and Indonesia alone, in terms of feature film, they are way ahead of us.
Of
Let's
course.
admit, yeah. But in terms of commercial, they could accept our people. That means there is that manpower that we have that other country wants.
Yeah.
Right? Why aren't these people working back here? Because the budget is not good enough.
Okay.
Right? So, how? You want
The
to
budget,
design
you mean
something?
the budget for productions here?
Yeah. Generally, across the board. I'm sure you know, most production budget for feature don't go X amount more.
Yes.
The moment you go slightly more, people say, hey, for crazy.
Yeah, that's why we wanted that 40%, 50%. So, because you see, things have happened before in the past, kan, whereby people get budgets. Number one, they never complete the films and all that. In fact, this industry has a bad reputation, actually. Has a bad reputation.
I think this is a very rude of me to stop this speech right here, but I think this is what happened in the Malaysian films, because we tend to, all these people, I respect all you guys, but all these veterans have ample time with you instead of us, the younger people who are passionate about film. We don't have time to talk to you, so this is our time. And I think let us don't talk about these teeny things because you guys are going to have a dialogue about this. Can we have the younger people to ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
I'm
allowed to ask the last question. Last question.
Okay, nampaknya a lot of people are going to be
Dah,
benefiting
kejap,
from this
nenek.
session.
Jangan veteran, nak kena balik nanti tau.
Itulah, rasa sekarang ni,
10.
hopefully we
Young
can have
people-
10 more minutes.
Okay.
So,
No lah, with the young one, we can extend a bit.
with the younger filmmakers.
I'm not a veteran.
Right now, if you come out of job from our school, I'm the senior. Forget it.
What? Apa lah? Okay.
Oh, come on.
It's okay. Alright. Tak apa, I accept the question, okay? Right.
Dato, about the this budget teaching sentences you are different. I heard that for this, when you apply for this grant, you need to have 2 guarantors. I came across for the development fund, somebody applied and they said that they need a guarantor for that.
Okay, somebody nak miss,
Oh, yes.
please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, so sorry.
No, that's all right.
Sorry. Okay. Okay, Dato, my name is Nora, and my name is Nora, and I'm not as experienced as most of the people in here, and I'm sorry with my attitude just now, but I just want to ask about things that I think that other people want to ask.
Okay.
Sorry. So years ago, I did a short film for Association for International Women's Day. It was a 2-minute short film about a woman fulfilling her sexual needs which is but ignored by her husband. So that film was got banned by the censorship board because of the certain issue. I showed it to my tutor from US, and she said, Nora, in America, we literally don't give up about this thing.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is, we got a lot of films, other films that got banned, but there are pretty good films. So it was, what is your opinion? Because sometimes this film get acknowledged outside, but people in Malaysia have a very limited access to those films. And what if in the pitching center, if someone like Nawiwi came in the picture and have a very good script, but it was an ugly true script that touched a certain issue in Malaysia, how
macam kita overcome all this? Okay.
How do you
The point is that at this moment in time, we do accept that sensitivities are there, and in some ways, maybe Malaysia, whether it's ready or not, is another story, lah kan? But I give you an example lah. If you were to show masa Hari Raya Korban, right? When the cow kan is being slaughtered for things on film. It's not only amongst the katalah in India, even in US you show that, you will also be cut because it's RSPCA, respect for quality. So that means every country have their own quirks lah. Just like I do accept that creativity means we can unleash our creativity. But there are certain areas like your film, kan? When you mentioned about sexual needs and all that, immediately I think about great masters like like Louis Buñuel. Dia boleh buat a film about something that happens in a brothel, but you never see any nudity, you never see anything. Kan? Creativity has been used to somehow specific, tapi because remember, these great films were made in Europe at a time when Europe itself had a strong, was under a strong censorship issues. So what I'm saying is that I understand. I mean, you're young. I was young once upon a time. But when I was young, the internet, so it was a bit like I wanted to make the kind of films. Now, what kind of films I wanted to make? Well, similar to yours. It's not about fulfillment, sexual, ada lah sikit-sikit. The whole idea was to say, for instance, certain things I would say, because a film is a message, kan? It's a message. And the story, first of all you say it's a story, but within the story there's a message. So what I'm saying is that, yes, as far as Finas is concerned, even a film like Split Gravy Over Rice, kita dah check. To show in Malaysia, it is covered by a different rule. But there's nothing to prevent Finas from sending it abroad, to send it to Locarno or wherever. Now we mentioned about Namwi. Yes, okay, Namwi. I mean, we have met the people where Namwi. We said, "Alah, Namwi, you angry young man? Apa angry young man? You want to hear how angry I was last time also? 10 years time when you get married already, other kids around you, you're still going to do what you're doing." So in other words, people change. But that change can come with a different level of creativity. So that's why I always say, yes, you can say what you like, but you know very well what you're up against. Like here, you want to make anything explicit. Why is it that we cannot show anything explicitly here? Because there are rules. And we are playing around with grants here that come from government, from taxpayers' money, and all that.
Should come and see the Iran Film Festival.
Like Iranian?
There's a lot of rules. But how come the film goes to Oscar?
Yes.
So there is that balance. Yes.
If you play sensuality, people struggle.
Because in my film, except for Hafiz shoulder, there's nothing
The actor's already there.
I would welcome you to show your films here. I'm more interested to see, for instance, how many young people here have started to contact, have good ideas and all that. Because kita ada shortage of applications here for development. Shortage. I'm waiting. Good scripts. I'm waiting for good production materials to come in. I'm waiting for the next wave. I am dreaming about the Malaysian new wave. And what is the Malaysian new wave? Is coming from, well, bukan orang muda, you can come from the slightly young at heart group also. But the most important right now is that Malaysia is such a country with so much diversity. You know, when people say about stories here, there are many legend, you know, you can do a lot of things. So I'm wondering, what is the issue here? I believe personally, it's because at the school level, they do not teach you creativity. Yeah. So one of Finas' major role to move the needle is I should be talking now a lot more with Ministry of Education to try and introduce this thing called, I don't know what you call it, screen culture or, you know, social media culture. Look, the average person here what? Takes a camera at what age? Yeah? Pegang camera? 16. What? 16, right? Citizen Kane is, you watch them when you go to university. An average guy in Australia who will destined to become a filmmaker would have known Citizen Kane or would have seen Kurosawa or whatever by the time they are 12 years old. Takkanlah dah masuk Lim Kok Wing ataupun One Academy barulah tahu pasal the great ni semua, right? You can go to Australia right now and you go on a taxi, you can even talk about Birdman with a taxi driver. You try and talk about Birdman, dia kata burung apa. So it shows there's an imbalance in the country here because you see, we are talking about one industry here, but there is a correlation with everything that's happening around us, right? Education is one of them. Tengok dekat television, kenapa everybody is so interested in the commercial side, they forget. Import 1 hour, 2 hours of classic films. You look at the French, it's a screen-loving culture. Everybody, budak-budak sekolah pergi tengok wayang. But Malaysia is like a bit that. And then when we try to do something, I'm not saying I'm the greatest KP of all. No, I tried. Because the best part is, sebelum I jadi KP Finas, I was condemning the KP Finas. KP Finas patut buat ni tak buat ni tak buat. Cakap pasal Pedro Almodovar, dia cakap, itu tu minuman apa tu? Cakap pasal Kurosawa, itu sushi baru kan? So, what I'm saying is that lepas all this criticism, then I don't know, God is great, they put me in Finas. So now I stand in Finas and I said, okay, what did I used to complain last time? People cannot have access to the KP. So I tried, tapi unfortunately macam abang, dia try jumpa tak dapat. Tapi sekarang saya janji, okay, we can see. At least today I cakap, ni tanya KP, I beritahu, ada dapat tahu, okay, I want to listen. The young generation don't even have a door to knock in Finas dulu. Yes? Tosa nak kata tu, ada orang Finas baca pasal Filem magazine dulu, tak ada. You tahu tak pasal ni director ke apa, datang dia jumpa Spanish tu, Latin American Film Festival is coming soon. Ya, cakap pasal China, Chinese delegation datang, you do not know about Chinese cinema. It so happens that I'm a film maniac, semua ni I tahu. Well, because it's my living. But, I'm doing this for what? Glory. What glory? Hobby. Hobby.
Dato,
yeah?
I was told that I get to ask. Okay. I'm a documentary filmmaker. Last question. Documentary filmmaker. We have our documentaries, Malaysian documentaries, have traveled a lot internationally around the region. If you know History Channel, National Geographic, Discovery, they're all our platform for our content. So, but our challenges have always been the fact that the best of the best documentary contents are about the penguins in Antarctica, where when we want to pitch to Finas, somehow there's a criteria of it has to be a Malaysian content or somehow partly Malaysian. So what is your thought on that, and what is Finas' roadmap for documentaries?
Okay, the documentary is, to me, is the important step before people actually become filmmakers in the feature film sense. Because I believe documentary gives the discipline and need to... But
I'm making a feature documentary.
It's okay.
For cinema.
Feature length documentary.
It's for cinema.
Okay, but what I mean, like for instance, something like the act of killing or the conscience. I mean, those are the kind of things that I believe, even if it's on a foreign subject, as long as it's a Malaysian, it's okay. But it must be well researched, but it's not something like, okay, when you talk about Malaysian documentary, you know what is the first thing that we think about? Malaysian documentary. Very few people can remember again. Right?
Propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, propaganda, okay, if you talk to me propaganda, yes, I am encouraging propaganda today, but propaganda for unity, and not the Ali Mutu Achong type. It must be a different, I have said this many times already. What kind of films are we looking for right now? I tell you what, a monster that come out from Kuala Lumpur punya polluted river, destroy city council first, Dewan Bandar Raya, too much permit overdevelopment in KL. Call it monster ke, nak buat badak ke, nak buat ikan haruan jadi giant ke apa. Goes to Twin Tower, breaks open Twin Tower and all that. And in the process, they kill Chinese, Indian, Malays, bayi semua. So all races got killed. And then all races also have to come back to fight that monster. Then everybody will come to the cinema. Right? Because right now I'm trying to avoid this thing about you make one film, oh, you get only that audience.
Yeah.
That audience, that audience. What for? Every time we talk about P. Ramlee, if nothing else, they brought all levels of people together. And guess what? Some of their films are based on Indian stories, in those early days from Singapore. So, today, the answer for Malaysian commercial cinema is that sort of films. Yes, Suamiku number 10 or Suami Hai datang daripada bulan ke, that one is fine. It gets for the audience. But what the young filmmakers should be focusing are those that can transcend. So, monster films, why not? Gamera, Gundam type, everybody grew up on Gundam, Gamera, siapa lagi? Ultraman, Godzilla. What? Special effects are available now. You can do wonderful things. Okay, how many people, the young people, okay, and the young at heart also, what can we think about a film about a flying saucer lands in Kuala Lumpur? Di, apa tu? Di jalan apa tu? Dekat Aswara tu? And in the process of coming out, they destroy all the buildings around there first. And then you make your statement. And then aliens come out. What happens? Can we make our own equivalent of District 9? You see District 9, right?
Don't have budget.
But non-fiction.
Okay. Kalau budget tak cukup, then it becomes a short film first. Yeah, I mean, Whiplash. Can we make a Whiplash? But instead of drum, somebody make viola. You want to make a film about, wow, you know, so what I'm saying is that the sky is the limit. So that's one part of Finas' job, yeah, tuan? Kita tengok, Finas nak develop that. Because apart from Polis Evo, I hope lepas Polis Evo ada banyak lagi. But you know what happens in Malaysia normally, kan? Polis Evo is the peak, lepas tu nothing for the next few months, right? Hangat-hangat macam tu je, lepas tu macam tu tak ada apa. Dan adalah heboh semua. The best part about our filmmaking is masa nak launch je. Filem ni akan buat ni, akan trash masterpiece lain ni, tengok apa pun. At the end of the day, the audience. Why? Because maybe we never listen to the audience.
Yeah.
So the audience of today is what? Young people, cool, apa? Internet problems. Yes? We can make our own equivalent of what? What's that film yang apa tu? Yang internet punya crisis tu? Pakai WhatsApp yang suddenly pergi cari stalker. Adalah one film I said. I also see so many films, I can't remember which one, maybe just last week. Yeah. But the point is, that is the new Malaysian cinema should come from that kind of stories. Where's a story about, one day is about a man who works in a, okay, this one, tak ada media kan? Media okay. Who has made a movie about someone who sits in the censor board? Every day tengok. And then dia balik rumah, wherever he sees too much there, he also behaves like that at home. Then you can make another eraser hit. Then we can send it to which festival? Cheap about. All these films are on cheap budget. But anyone come here to say, I want to make like Transformers, I say, okay, that one will pay only 40%. Because your opening titles alone can make 5 other local films. Where have we made a film about the agony of being a fisherman? Nope.
Dato, we are making a movie, a 60-year-old man want to learn tap dancing.
Good. Tap dancing. Why don't we make a story about a 18-year-old girl, nurse, who fell in love with a dying 60-year-old man?
Oh dear.
In the hospital. And all the while she was like, better still make her a Chinese and the dying man is a Malay. Because every time I like kaya lah. That means setiap kali dia tengok family dia masuk, semua dia sibuk pasal harta saja. Bila harta nak bagi semua. And then this nurse look from afar and then form a brutal bond. Platonic, it doesn't matter. Yeah? I bagi idea lah. Who has made a film here about the grind and the daily life of a postman? Taxi driver. Oh, you want to talk about taxi driver? Yeah, mana. We never make films like that. Why? Because we say commercially you may not be able to. Who knows? By making this sort of movie, you might hit something, a raw nerve somewhere. New release in England, one of the films that changed the whole course of filmmaking was what? You remember an old film called The Loneliness of a Long Distance Runner? England was making films like this at one time in the 60s. Then they have this new wave. Same thing in France. They made a film called The Sitting Room. It's just about a tenant. A landlord, and the landlord is a lady, and the tenant is a young man. But they had a relationship, but from afar. Just that, it brought Britain into a new type of filmmaking. The spotting life, loneliness of a long-distance runner. The French, of course, you don't have to say that. The critics themselves decided to make movies, and they started the new wave. Malaysia apa? Kalau challenge. Yes. The electricity in Malaysia macam intensity. After that, cannot. Okay, macam ni lah. I know that I wouldn't have time for all, but it's supposed to be monthly. But for some, maybe I cannot say I can do it next week. Kan? Friday. Nanti kan I pun ada thank God it's Friday juga.
It's going to be a monthly thing, so don't
worry. It's going to be a monthly thing. However, having said that, anyone who still wants to say anything, okay, going to Finas and to meet me there is a bit susah. Ini bukan sengaja. Saya ni bukan takut lari sorok dalam toilet semua, tak ada. Saya boleh jumpa semua orang. It's just that because of the timing. Because macam nak cakap with your ideas, I tak nak 10 minit. Saya kalau boleh duduk dengan slipper, ya.
Daripada 30 minit tu,
ya.
Daripada 30 minit tu, kalau kita 30 minit macam Dato interested, dia akan jadi sampai 5 jam. Itu pasal saya cakap 30 minit je waktu Dato.
Okay, good. Yeah. And then to the young group, you can come here or well, my email is very simple only.
Email.
Kamil@finas.my.
Kalau tak ada.
Even the GOV is not there.
Dato, do you have spam email filter?
Okay. Tak apalah, but since I receive all the emails on 3 devices, so at least one will get through. Are we showing a film? No time. Anyone who has a film you want to show, screen it, you can just come here and see. Okay, I think you know lah kan? Yeah? Okay, ceritanya macam ni. Yang tak censor tu, I normally get the title and I would report it to the lembaga pelapis just to comply.
Dato, have you watched Marco Polo?
Yes?
They shot here.
Yep.
And censored the part.
No. The nude scenes and all that were filmed outside Malaysia.
It was in English.
Where's Glowset kan? Glowset tu outside Malaysia lah. Because no locals were allowed to show kan. Then besides, I never got the chance to see the actress either. So yeah.
We don't know. Thank you on behalf of all the movie makers to give us a chance like this. It never happened before.
Thank you. Tapi janganlah macam. Because especially for ideas for new films, you can make it. Come on, you can make even Tau Fufa punya seller punya story pun boleh buat. And apa tu jual apa tu cendol.
Topless.
Can yeah, Tau Fufa topless. Okay. Before we go, right? Now I can't help it. She mentioned Rose Chan. Kenegaraan in our definition right now is not some epic films that happened in 1511 during the time of Mansur Shah and Cheng Ho coming here. It can also be about somebody like Sebil Kartikazum, who died in a doctor in Ipoh who was killed by the Japanese. Kenegaraan is about Tok Janggut, who fought against the British and he was hung upside down. And I can tell you, the story about his thing are found, guess where? Museum, the London Museum. Nobody has come to us to ask us for money because they want to write a script about either Tok Sago or Tok Janggut, and of course we have an expert here, Dato. He explained to me the whole history, but at least we all know Dato Sago as one of the men who killed James Birch in the Perak River, right? The whole transcript of the trial is in the London Museum. I'm waiting for the day when somebody will come, I want to make a movie, and I need the money to go to London in order to study the thing. Nampak tak?
Nampak.
Okay lah. Tapi
to London.
Tapi aku nampak you punya thing.
I'll send it.
Send it dulu kena sana.
Actually, I sent before program Kenegaraan.
Yeah, but then of course lah, when you send something, you have to look at it first lah. Which part of the James Birch story, right? And what else can qualify? A lot of the people, okay, like now, my favorite now, I know Farida has heard this many times, is Jimmy Boyle. You know Jimmy Boyle, kan? Everybody sing about Putra Putri, that song. Everybody has forgotten he's a composer. He died at what age? 40 something. Of alcohol, kan? Liver pecah. Why can't you make a story like that? Why is it that people can make autobiography of other people and everything works well, right? Malaysia, every time you make autobiography, what happens? Only Malaysians understand. That's all I'm saying. Just get the context. Because sometimes we try to tell too much in one movie. But I will just focus on, like Jimmy Boyle in the case. I always like to say, just put the circumstances where he wrote the song. Because genius sometimes have painful things. At the moment of pain, they create something. And that's what the film should be all about. The rest can be flashback, something like that. But Malaysians, I find, generally lah, bagi skrip nak cakap pasal orang-orang macam ni, nak buat documentary. From the day he was born until the day he died. Then if that's the case, buat lah. And then macam Braveheart tengok kan, Braveheart only what? 20% only factual kan? Right? 80% is creative license. Mana ada French girl falling in love and all this kind of thing. Tak ada apa. But still the point was about how England used to treat the Scots. But here, everyone wants to make as accurate as possible. Might as well make a documentary. Yeah? The creative.
The story of his younger
Yeah. So, Dato, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, it's a Friday night. Happy hours are over dah. So, I thank you all and we'll see you again.